One of the most challenging things for new reporters to learn in packaging is how to do a stand-up. A stand-up is really that moment in the story when you, the reporter, appear on camera. There are two types of main stand-ups. The first is an intro-outro stand-up. This is when you appear at the beginning and end of a package. It's very common for look lives as well as live reports. But we really don't want to do the donut stand-up, as it's commonly referred to, because it doesn't really provide a way of storytelling. It's really just a bookend that you're doing for an intro-outro stand-up. Instead, we want to do a bridge. Just as bridges are places that allow you to get from one point to another, bridge stand-ups give you the ability to transition your story from one topic to another topic. Not every piece of your reporter track is going to serve well as a bridge stand-up. Remember, the purpose of the bridge stand-up is to help you transition from one topic or point of view to another. So for example, if I were talking about parents having to homeschool during the quarantine, I could talk about the difficulties and challenges that a parent is having working full-time while also homeschooling here at home. But then I could use a bridge stand-up to transition to a more beneficial point of view of that, saying that those same parents also are having some quality time with their children. Here's an example. Patrick Devers says it's been challenging to work full-time at home while also homeschooling his 5-year-old daughter, Skylar. But he also says that it's been opening up some new opportunities for quality time here at home. See how that bridge stand-up allowed us to move from the negative point of view to a positive point of view. I want each of you to be thinking about where that transition lies within your own story, within your own package. A lot of times that's going to be in the middle because you're transitioning from one point of view to the other. However, that's not always the case. Try to shoot for somewhere in the middle to give you enough of a story on the front end, but use the bridge stand-up to kind of close out, round out, and give you a new point of view for your final part of your package. I want you all to be thinking, where does that transition and where does the story change? That's where your bridge stand-up should go.
Here are some additional tips on shooting a bridge stand-up. First, dress professionally. Imagine that this story will end up on a portfolio that you will be sending to your dream job here soon. Would you really want someone who is going to hire you to see you in sweatpants or workout gear? Of course not. Dress like you're a professional working journalist. Boys, that typically means collared shirts, button down, and pants. Ladies, be cautious of how much skin you show, which can be a major distractor for people who are watching your work. Instead, use dresses, shirts, sweaters, and jackets that you'd be okay showing off to grandma. Not comfortable on camera? Trust me, I get it. I was behind the scenes in my decade-long career in journalism, but it's only a few seconds, so fake it until you make it. Be confident when you're on camera, acting like you've just received an Emmy for the first time. Take that kind of confidence into your stand-up shoot. It'll be over soon. Know that you're gonna mess up. Even the best make mistakes while recording their stand-ups. The key is just to keep trying until you get a clean take. Don't get frustrated if you mess up. Laugh it off and try again. And save those outtakes for our blooper reel because we all need a good laugh sometimes. Be sure to build some action into your bridge stand-up. Try not to make it too corny, but the more you can show through your stand-up, the better. There are a few ways you can do this.
You can transition to a new place by shooting stand-ups in two different places. You could start by talking about traditional schools standing in front of one, and then move to a living room to talk about homeschooling. Here's an example. Most people think of a classroom in a traditional sense, whiteboards, teachers, student desks. But thanks to shelter-in-place orders around the country, most American classrooms are actually looking a lot more like this. Use movements in your shot. Just make sure you don't do it without a purpose. Here's an example. Most people tend to think about American classrooms with a teacher, a whiteboard, student desks. But now, thanks to COVID-19, the American classroom is looking a lot more like this. You can use props to demonstrate what you're talking about. For instance, Experts say that it's important to maintain homeschooling standards during the quarantine, but they don't have to look like this. It can be as simple as having a book. No matter what you do with your bridge stand-up, just make sure that you're being creative. Students living in more rural areas may have some trouble accessing online distance education materials, so they're having to get creative. Like having their teachers mail them their materials. Here are a few other important things to keep in mind when doing stand-ups. First, while an intro-outro stand-up would have a reporter tag out like that ever so serious reporting from Pelham, I'm Danielle Devers, University of Alabama. A bridge stand-up doesn't have that. You're storytelling. You're telling us how to get from one point in the story to the other. So you're not going to introduce yourself, your station, where you are, or anything like that. In fact, the lower third super that you're going to put on the screen will do that for you, so don't worry about it. As always, make sure you're paying attention to sound. If you have a lavalier mic at home or something that you can use as a speaker, make sure you use it. If not, don't worry about it, but just make sure you're in a quiet enough place where there's not a ton of background noise to distract from what you're saying. And that should cover us for our stand-up bridge section of learning. I want you guys to be thinking, what is that transitional piece that my package and my story really need? What's that place in my story where we take an unexpected turn, where I introduce a new topic, a new person, a new type of subject? That's where your bridge should go. While typically it's in the middle, it's not always right in the middle. So make sure that you're thinking about that transition piece of a stand-up bridge. It's really important that you get this part right. Stand-up bridges are really difficult to do. I've seen some professionals who can't really master this type of technique. However, that makes it so that if you can master it, which I know you all can, you will be standing out among all the resumes and digital portfolios that are out there. It's something that newsroom directors, as well as executive producers who do a lot of hiring, look for. It shows you're creative. It shows that you know how to write and storytell. And it really is something that can help distinguish you and your work from all of the other reels out there. So make sure you really think about what your stand-up bridge is going to look like. I know you guys are going to be so creative, and I can't wait to see what you come up with.